It's washed away now. At one time, it was in a fair shape that you could go in and out down there in the car.
Huh.
But it's washed away now. You do well to go in there afoot.
But you have seen cars go in there, though.
They said there was one that went down in there and they let part of the air out of the tires and they made it back out.
Okay, Bill, let's go over to some of your recollections about old Indian sites that you can think of in this area. Was there one at your old home site?
That was at the Indian site at one time. We found signs of where they made the arrowheads down there right below the house on the branch. And when you was plowing, why you plow up arrowheads all over the place.
You know anybody who actively collected them in this area? Who was
Not right over, let's say, yeah, if I could think of his name. One of my cousins did. He was a Henderson too.
Did he keep his stuff, or did he sell it, or what?
Yeah, he kept it. He collected it.
How about old Indian burial sites?
There wasn't any around in this area that I know of.
Can you think of any old Indian legends or stories or anything that you might have gotten from your family or that you've heard?
No, sir, I can't.
Are there any Indians or people that are part Indian that you can think of around here? Any numbers of them?
Not that I know of.
They must have been gone for some time.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about social life and some of the recollection you have about the ladies. Did women work much outside of the home? Any of them have jobs?
No, No, what jobs they had was working in the field and in the home.
What did they do?
They make a crop, and they done other things like canning and washing and stuff like that.
What type of jobs did they do in the farming process when they were out in the fields?
They hoed and helped plant and hoe. And a few of them plowed.
Did any of them have any type of contribution? Have any type of contribution they'd make to the family income, such as selling quilts or selling any of their food or anything?
Not that I know of. They what they done, they made it for their own use.
The food that was prepared for the folks, did most of it come from the home spot that they grew and caught and here on the area? Did they have store-bought food?
It was raised. It's raised on the place where they lived.
What type of preserving methods were used?
Can mostly, best I remember. My mother done a lot of canning. Her name was Merty Henderson, and she would try to can enough to do us through the winter.
Have dried meat or smoked meat?
I don't remember that we had any smoked meat, but the way that we when we kill a hog, why we had salt it down, and that's the way that we kept our meat. I think there's some it would smoke it, but we didn't.
How about dug wells or springs?
Yeah, they was springs that people got water out of, and dug wells to start with that they dug, and they'd get their water out of it.
Did they use them for preserving food? I mean, did they put milk or anything?
In the later years, why, before we got any refrigerators, why we'd put milk in the springs and maybe in the well too, to chill milk.
When did you get your first refrigeration?
We got our first refrigerator in the 50s.
How about your first car? When was the first time you saw a car?
First car that I remember seeing was back in the early 30s.
I know you've seen a lot of changes, being born in a log cabin there.
Right.
No electricity. When did things really start changing around here? When did you notice that? I imagine when electricity came, that had a lot.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Yeah, that's when it really started changing.
The recreation that people had, what type of get-togethers did you have?
From what I can find out, that people would gather at certain people's houses and have dances on Saturday night.
Music?
Yeah.
You had local people play?
Uh-huh. Had what you call now country and bluegrass.
The very earliest music that you heard, what was that like?
Very earliest I heard was what they call folk music. It was people singing and maybe one instrument, maybe a flat top guitar. And maybe they'd use a flat top guitar and use a thing on it, kind of like a dobro. Make it sound kind of like a dobro. A bar.
You wouldn't call that country western music like it came to be later, would you?
No,
Well, tell me about the development of country music as people saw it here.
Well, I believe is hillbilly is what they first call what we call now country music. The old, what you call,
Folk music.
folk music, yeah.
Folks like Jimmy Rogers.
Right.
Did that have an influence on music here?
Yeah, it sure did. Had a big influence. Then the Carter family, they started recording the same time, Jimmy Rogers and the Carter family. They was in the studio at the same time. In August in 1927, they both recorded their first test record.
Any of them ever come to this area to play?
I think Jimmy Rogers come to Fort Payne. What I can find out, and I don't know about the Carter family.
Well, music's always been a big part of this area. In this area, it's, I imagine bluegrass.
Yeah, bluegrass now has got a real big hold on people now, or it is me. Yeah, I enjoy listening to bluegrass.
Bill Monroe.
Right, along with others.
tell me something about ice cream social. What were those?
People would go to town and get a. Back then, you had to go to town and get ice. You get it in big chunks. They'd get from 100 to 150 pounds of ice, and the ones that got the ice, they'd invite their neighbors to come up and eat ice cream with them.
Were those at people's homes or that church function?
Yeah, it was at their homes.
So as time went on, you've seen things change quite a bit in the way of entertainment. Can you tell us much about the development of at the edge of the canyon there at Canyonland Park, the amusement park?
Yeah.
How that came about and when?
Yeah. They was, before Mr. Weaver took over and made a park out of it, there was two fellers that was gonna build a park themselves. And they couldn't get the money to do it with. Ishmael Smith and Albert Bowman. So they decided to go in. They found out that Mr. Weaver could do a good bit, and they talked with him and got him to go in with them. And he thought that they would all be in together in the park. And so after Mr. Weaver took over, why, he just rooted the rest of them out and got it himself.
When did the park start operating?
1970.
And how long start operating?
1970.
And how long did it go, and was it successful?
Yeah, it was successful long as it went. It went from 1970 to 1973. 3 years.
And it's presently, it's closed. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been closed for a good many years.
You operated the chairlifting.
Yeah, I was the #1 chairlift operator.
Watched it be put in.
Yeah, I helped build a park over there, and they wanted me to operate the lift. They showed me what I'd have to do, and I just caught right on to it and operated as long as the park was open.
And then after the park closed, you stayed on over there as sort of security.
Right.
For how long?
Let's see, I went to Collinsville after the park went dead and stayed nearly a year down there, and then I come back in 81. I was down there from 81 till 92 or 93.
You lived pretty close to where this cabin was where you were born, right?
Right on the same place. Right on this side of the lake, and I was born on yonder side of the lake.
Well, sticking with changes, what have you seen much of a major change in the numbers of people that have been coming here in your lifetime? The tourists and people moving in?
Yeah, quite a bit.
And the last question I'd like to ask you is, what do you think the prospects for the National Preserve are? Do you think it'll be good to be here?
I believe it will. That canyon needs to be took care of. It's been treated scandalous. People dumping their trash and stuff off in it and around on the top. And I've said all the time that we need somebody to take care of it.
Well, this concludes the interview with Bill Henderson. Thank you very much, Bill.
Yes, sir.